understand the blood, the sweat, the pain of these fighters stands. Clint Macklin gonna break it down, give you the scoop. Hold on tight, this ain't no ordinary loot. UFC's the battleground where warriors collide. DieHard MMA podcast, we won't hide. Clint's gonna defeat, analyze each brawl from the underdogs to the champion standing tall. The fury, let your instincts rise. Feel the adrenaline rush, it's time to defy. DieHard MMA, we're in it for the thrill. Get ready for the madness. Let's make that bankroll spill. Let's make that bankroll spill.
Happy Friday, degenerates! What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Undefeated Post-Weigh-In Show, the best damn betting show of your MMA week with the best damn intro song on the net. And I see you all in the chat. You know it's true. You know you're headbanging with me every single time the intro plays. And come on. Corny is my brand, baby. You should know that by now. What's up, everybody? We are coming to you for the last show of the week. I watched the weigh-ins. I watched the face-offs. We take all the information that we've had throughout the week, all the breakdowns, chatting with the boys. And then we use that to make the best reads we possibly can on this show. We give you all the info that we possibly can so you can make a good bet tomorrow at UFC Denver. So let's get straight on into it. Bit of a weird week this week, guys. We'll be honest with you. The MMA media still can't figure out how to cover these live events. Like now that the UFC is back out and traveling and shit, they do not know how to get their camera crews out to location anymore. They got a flat tire. Maybe they forgot how to fill the gas. I'm not sure which one it is, but we don't get the weigh-in shows that we're usually used to on these unfortunate types of situations. So what I have done is I have to give a massive shout out to friend of the show, guest of the show, Aaron Bronstetter, who tweeted everything today. He was out there with his damn cell phone filming these things and he put them all up on Twitter. That's the only way I got to see everything that I needed to see. There's no ceremonials, so we got the face-offs and stuff like that. I had to go on Instagram for a couple when he missed an upload. It was a wild morning, but I got you. And that's what I'm here for. This is Homofied, everybody. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you have not already. We appreciate you being here with us and hanging out. But of course, hit the like button. And you know what? If you hate the intro, hit the like button twice. It works the same way. It's basically a dislike button if you hit the like button again. So just keep clicking the damn thing. All right. First fight of the night, everybody. Added a late one. We got Evan Elder and Darius Flowers. Both of these guys coming in here on short notice. Evan Elder, I think, was already supposed to be on this card. Darius Flowers is a guy the UFC had on the chopping block, and they were like, oh shit, we need to fill in this short notice fight. Let's take a guy who's small for the weight class. Let's take a guy who can't really wrestle. Let's take a guy who gasses out really badly, and let's give him 2 days to make weight and put him at elevation. Sounds like a great plan. Evan Elder looked good on the scales, gave a huge flex. To Darius Flowers' credit, he actually looked pretty good. He's a big, thick boy, so he had a decent flex himself. Evan Elder does look to be ever so slightly the larger of the two fighters, but I'll be honest with you, they size up pretty well. This one got put together so late, guys. I have not had a chance to go in and do the legwork. I know more about Darius Flowers off the top of my noggin because I have tried to bet him as an underdog in the past before. But I don't remember Evan Elder. I remember I like Evan Elder, but I can't remember everything about his skill set and things like that. So I've got to do a little bit of legwork this evening. I will tell you, I agree with Evan Elder being a favorite. He's basically got to survive getting chinned for like the first 2 minutes of this fight. And then Darius Flowers is just going to fall off a cliff. He does not have good cardio. He does not have great grappling, even though he's training out of the MMA lab. He does have decent power. So that's something that Evan Elder's got to watch out for. But if memory serves correctly, I think Evan Elder's got okay durability. So I think he should be able to win this fight. Minus 410 against the guy that gasses at elevation. Yeah, you can't really argue that. I got to go with Evan Elder. He probably gets it done inside the distance, but watch out for that Darius Flowers nuke, right? He's fighting for his job. He's on short notice here. He's got nothing to lose. He's going to go for it. So there's always that opportunity that Darius Flowers could just kind of bonk Evan Elder right out the gates. Next up, Josh Friend and Andre Petrowski, the fight that apparently became like the Twitter civil war of the week. No videos for this one for these guys getting on the scales for me, unfortunately. I wasn't able to find those. Friend made 186. Petrowski made 185.5. But what I can tell you is the size advantage is solid here. Now, Petrowski is a guy who is he's built like a Dorito, right? He's got those giant broad shoulders. He's short, he's squat, he's like a little tank. And then Fremd, on the other hand, is like he's like those tall, skinny, crunchy Cheetos. I guess we're doing snacks today, right? For the comparisons. So obviously, Fremd has a height and reach advantage. We knew that coming in. He trains at elevation, so that is kind of an advantage for him. He doesn't have the best gas tank in the world. I've talked about that. Andre Petrowski, obviously notable having a bad gas tank, but a huge grappling upside here in this one. This one is weird, right? Like it feels like a buy low on Petrowski, which I have done. I snatched up that plus 110 when he was dog money. It has settled in at Pick'em, and it looks like Petrowski is leading ever so slightly to the minus 115 side. Very short favorite now at this point. It's been kind of edging back and forth at that minus 110, minus 115 mark for a decent little bit here. I did go ahead. Yeah, Clint's hungry. Nailed it. So I already bet Petrowski at dog money. I don't feel like Fremd is UFC caliber necessarily, and I will take anybody against Fremd at plus money pretty much. Petrowski opened up like a minus 165 favorite. I think that's more appropriate the way I see the fight. But again, it is at elevation. And so you could get one of these guys gassing out. You could get Fremd nuking him with the first shot because the durability is a bit of a concern. Guys, I'm not holding anything against him for getting knocked out by Pereira. And I think the last fight was kind of the biggest fluke in UFC history. So I don't know that his chin is gone. I think he just kind of got tagged on the button and he fought a Brazilian monster. Neither of those are happening with Fremd here. So I think Fremd might be able to give up his neck. If not, I'm hoping Petrowski can just kind of grind on him. We'll see what happens. That one's a coin flip fight, and it could go horribly wrong multiple different ways. So good luck. If you're with me, if you're against me, does not matter. Either way, somebody's probably going to get embarrassed in that fight, no matter which side you picked. Next up, we have got my girl, Maria Agapova. People are telling me it's not Myra Agapova. It's Maria Agapova. I do apologize. I got the tongue twisted over here. So Agapova, Luana Santos. Both ladies made 125 pounds. I will give credit to Luana Santos. She looked great. She missed weight in her last fight. She's always looked a little soft. She's always looked a little puffy. So I truly have not had a great opinion of Luana Santos. She comes in here, she looks great. Her abs are popping. She makes 125 on the dot. I'm sure her OnlyFans subscribers are very happy with the way that she looks right now. So props to her for making weight. My girl Agapova, on the other hand, she looked good, guys. Like for somebody who's been fighting homelessness, for somebody who has been out of the gym, supposedly, she looks great. Like she's got abs popping. Her flex was solid. She looks like she's enjoying herself up there. I really think she's just happy to be back. And on top of that, when these two face off, Agapova's got the size advantage. So for Luana Santos being a quote-unquote bigger girl, somebody who missed weight at 125, for her to be undersized now to Agapova in this spot, I talked about it on my Monday show, guys. I think she's going to struggle with the takedowns. She is not a good wrestler. She's a judo player, not a great judo player. She's a young judo player. And that's not going to be overly effective against somebody like Agapova, I don't feel like. Agapova's worked really hard on her grappling, her takedown defense. We saw that in the Jillian Robertson fight where you could see a notable improvement on her takedown defense. I don't think that Santos is going to be able to drag her to the ground with a body lock. I just don't see that happening unless her knees completely don't work. So I'm probably going to end up biting on Agapova here. This line just keeps on going up and up and up. And as you guys know, my other sponsor, Bet Openly, you're going to get sexier numbers on every single thing. Agapova is plus 375 over there. So I'm probably going to have to take a taste on the Agapova side, because as we get up and over that, like plus 315, plus 325, plus 350, like we're getting in that ballpark where I'm like, you just have to. Like, I'm not, even if you think Luana Santos is the free square, by the way, she's not. But if you think that she is, this price is still getting out of hand for that. You could say Santos inside the distance, Santos sub, something like that. Sure, go for it. But I don't think she's got great cardio. And at elevation, I actually trust Agapova to have better cardio than Santos. A wise woman once told me that you don't bet against crazy. And Agapova is absolutely the craziest of all the crazies. She's the right kind of crazy for MMA. She's the Sean Strickland of Kazakhstan, okay? She's female Sean Strickland. That's what this chick is. So I have no problem loading up and taking a small shot on a gigantic underdog in a spot where everybody's counting her out. Let's freaking go, Agapova. Let's just get this thing done. I'm going to sprinkle that round 3 because I really think that it's going to be a gas tank battle, and she's mean, man. She's not going to stop putting her foot on the gas, and if her opponent slows down, she will hurt her and make her pay. Round 3 TKO. That's the call. The thing is, you got to be careful with that because she clubs and subs all the time. For a girl that doesn't know jiu-jitsu, she's got long-ass lanky arms, and she wraps the neck quick. Like, most of her finishes in the UFC are rear naked chokes because she hurts people, and then she somehow, like, dives on their back while they're falling away from her strikes. So the submission could actually be a sneaky look. Like, you wouldn't think Agapova could be submitting Santos, especially with all the grappling deficiencies. But after she clocks her one, if she sticks her neck into a choke or something like that, it could happen. Just say, here. It could happen. All right, there we go. We got that out of the way. Let's go. Next up, we've got Blackshear. He's taking on Montel Jackson. I got to get a new tinfoil hat. This one's all fucked up and broken. Blackshear, 135.5. Montel Jackson, 135. Blackshear is insanely ripped, you guys. Holy crap. I mean, just... my God. Massive flex. Montel Jackson looked good. He looks strong. I mean, he's a little bit bigger, so like not quite as, redonkulous. And like I said, when they face off, Montel Jackson is slightly bigger, but this isn't like a ridiculous size discrepancy. Jackson's last fight was against Ronnie Yaya, where it was really apparent that these two were not in the same ballpark. It was like, let's see here. So if Montel Jackson is a Dorito as far as how tall he is, what's a really bad chip? What's like Pringles are too good. You can't be a Pringle. What are we comparing Ronnie Yaya to? Ronnie Yaya would be like a Ruffles without the dip. Okay, he's like a plain Lay's Ruffle. I must be hungry. All right. So I already bet on Blackshear in this spot. The line has come down just ever so slightly. I like Damon. I think we've seen Montel Jackson has struggled against struggled is the wrong word. He struggled against good caliber competition, and I think that's what Blackshear is. Ever since he's done that, the UFC has popped him down a notch to guys that he's got massive advantages over, and he's been able to just kind of dust. So given that he's been able to walk through easy competition, that doesn't really impress me much. I think that Blackshear is the type of guy that will be able to drag him to the floor, take him down, body lock him, get some top time, maybe even choke him out. Like, I definitely think Blackshear is live. And on top of that, he's been training on mountaintops to fix his cardio concerns, to get ready for the elevation. And he's been out at Thailand working with Tiger Muay Thai. His striking looks absolutely pristine, much improved. So I think he's got a lot of spots where he can do very, very well. Oh, Matt nailed it. Yaya's a Frito. Absolutely nailed it. Yaya is a Frito. Nailed it. Okay. All right. I'm gonna have to come up with I'm gonna have to do like a tier list, and we'll compare each fighter to a chip. Anyway, I already bet Montel Jackson. It's one of those ones where I feel like he could win a decision just with like the grappling and stuff, but there's definitely finishing upside. And this is one of those ones where guys, I know I always talk about him. I got to shout out my guy, Liam Picks Fights. One thing he talks about regularly is if you can get in a position for a submission, you can be in a position for a knockout. The KO for Blackshear is like 11-1. And if he's going to get control time on the ground, there's elbows. If he's going to be showing off those improvements, that big ass body kick, like he could absolutely clip Montel Jackson on the feet. Is it likely? Not necessarily, but at 11-1, is insane. That's a big number. You might be able to sprinkle and get just a little bit of value on something like that. Next up, and I do apologize, guys. It's going to be a bit of a quick show today. I gotta burn through this here. Jasmine Jasudavicius and Fatima Klein, 125 for both ladies. Relax for Jazz on the scales, no issues. And you know what? I'd say the same thing for Fatima. She looks like she's been there before. This is a big moment for her, coming in on short notice, taking a massive jump in competition, and she did not look out of place. She looks like she's one of those prospects that knows where she needs to be. She knows what she's looking for. She knows she deserves to be here, and she's treating every single moment just like that. The thing that really got me, when they size up, Jazz always has a size advantage. She's not that much bigger than Fatima Klein. And now when this line opened, it was insanely disrespectful to one of the hottest prospects in MMA. Fatima Klein was like a 2-to-1 dog. Now, obviously that was like the easy openers, and really only a handful of people got $15 or something like that on that before it got smoked. But there's some people out there with plus money on Fatima Klein. That's the way that you would like to be here in this spot. When the line swung all the way to plus money on Jazz, I was tempted, guys, but I've also been long-term a Jazz hater. And I've been saying that she's just not that good. She's just bigger than everybody else. She's just stronger than everybody else. This is a huge step up for Klein. However, she is probably the more skilled fighter. She is probably the more well-rounded of the two. It just comes down to the physicality. She was getting ready for a Dana White's Contender Series opportunity, so she's not truly short notice. Denver's a bit of a surprise, but she was already geared up and ready to go and ready to get on a UFC stage. I actually know one of the people that she trains with, and I was having a conversation with them, and they are fully confident that she's going to be able to take down Jasmine Jasudavicius. Now, Jazz has an 80% takedown defense rating. That's impressive at the UFC level. And she's had mixed results in the UFC. She's fought some decent, some tough people. So it would be very impressive if Fatima was able to come down here and get some takedowns. But I really wouldn't be shocked, because Jazz has given up takedowns to some questionable people. And Fatima's big. She is a large girl in there. She does not look out of place sizing up with Jasmine Jasudavicius here at 125 pounds. So, guys, I might be talking myself into this dog shot. The line has moved a little bit. It's getting more and more exposed on the Jazz side. She's minus 125 now. You can get plus money again on Fatima Klein. And I would feel much more comfortable betting plus money on Klein than I would betting even money on Jazz. That's just me. That's just me. I'm a notable Jazz hater. I felt like her being the underdog was maybe a little bit disrespectful considering the circumstances. But if Fatima really is the prospect that people think that she is, then Jazz is the type of person she would get in her second UFC fight. She would be getting ready for this exact test very quickly anyway. So I've kind of ping-ponged a little bit on this one. I kind of flip-flopped a little bit on this one. Oh, yeah, and good point. Sami in the chat says that she just had a birthday. So the fact that she is fighting on her birthday, you know, if you believe in like birthday goals, birthday home runs, etc., whatever for fighters, she's fighting on her birthday. She's making a big splash in the UFC on her birthday. Yeah, I might have to go ahead and take that shot, you guys. Also, just based on the fact that, you know, knowing somebody who is talked up Fatima Klein to me very specifically, it's like, well, I kind of can't steer away from that kind of not insider information, but you know what I mean. Like, they had a very honest and upfront conversation with me. I think she's the goods. I do think she's the goods. All right, next up, you got Charles Johnson and Josh Van. Johnson 125.5, Van 125 on the dot. Charles Johnson ripped as ever. Big smile from him. And it was all smiles for Josh Van. That guy's always in such a good mood. I love Josh Van. I did parlay up Josh Van in this spot, guys. I know he's at a size disadvantage. I know Charles Johnson is way taller and way longer. But I do think that when... Oh, shit, Sami, it's your birthday. Happy birthday. I thought you were saying it was her birthday, because you're right about both. Happy birthday. Sorry about that. My bad. I'm trying to fly through this thing quickly, and I'm mixing up the comments in the chat because I'm still trying to pay attention to you guys. It's a hard job I do. Oh, man. So I did parlay up Josh Van. I've got him parlayed with Rose in the main event. You know, tip my hat there. That's the side that I'm on for the main event. I just think this is going to be like I've talked about it before, not minutes versus moments, because they're both minute winners. But when it comes down to the big exchanges, when it comes down to those big power punching shots, Van is going to capture those moments. We've seen Johnson hurt before. I think Van's got more power than him. He'll be able to clip him and hurt him a couple of times. And the body work, like we've seen Johnson, his usually endless gas tank. We've seen it be chipped away at before. This is relatively short notice for him against a guy that works the body. That drains you. That drains you a lot. So I think we're going to get like a stand and bang type of fight where it's like a close but clear type of situation for Van, because the bigger power shots are just going to be the difference. That's what I believe. So yeah, it might be a bit of a big price, but I think the UFC is putting Van in winnable positions very purposefully. They know what they've got in this kid. So the size is not going to scare me off. Abdulrazak Al-Hassan, Cody Brundage, round one monsters going at it here. 185 for Al-Hassan, 185.5 for Brundage. Abdulrazak Al-Hassan, brick shit house. My God, huge flex up there. Cody Brundage looks solid, big smile, good flex, very relaxed on the scales today, ready to pull a couple of guillotines. I love the guy. He's got a decent size advantage here in this spot as well, and he doesn't look like anything's phasing or bothering him. You know, he has no problem sizing up with this absolutely terrifying round one knockout monster. He's got the confidence in himself to get out there and do the damn thing. I do lean dog or pass here with Cody Brundage just because he's the better wrestler of the two. The gas of Abdulrazak Al-Hassan really is what scares me. The round one fragility of Cody Brundage is what scares me. Abdul is not a quitter. Abdul is a gasser. Cody Brundage sometimes can be broken. That's the problem for me. You know, one or two big body kicks from Abdulrazak and Cody's just going to go down and say, I'm done. No, thank you. But if Cody gets the grappling going, he'll be able to melt away the power and intensity of Abdulrazak and then probably drag this fight out and win it himself. I actually think the over is maybe a sneaky look in this spot, but that could all end with one kick from Abdul. So it's a really tough fight, guys. Really volatile fight. I wouldn't personally suggest betting this one, and I'm the Cody Brundage guy. I've cashed not one, but two giant tickets on him by round one KO, TKO, or DQ. Make sure you get the DQ in there. I'm not expecting the DQ this time around. And frankly, I'm not expecting the round one, which is why I'm not going back to the well. I'm not going to play that one again here in this spot, because if Cody wins, I think it'll be like a round two or a round three when Abdul is just exhausted. Frankly, I think it's more likely to be a decision where they're both tired and Cody just kind of hangs on him being the bigger guy in there. So I think the over is a bit of a sneaky look in this one, but Abdulrazak KO round one is always on the table, and it's really hard to argue against it. So again, I don't have a bet on this one. I just kind of lean Brundage. I lean Brundage by decision. That might be in one of my little Hail Mary sprinkle parlays, hoping to hit something crazy, but nothing big, nothing really invested here. Julian Arosa and Christian Rodriguez, C-Rod himself. 145.5 for both guys. Julian looked really good, business as usual, no problems. My boy C-Rod looked fantastic. He's got abs, folks. He's got abs. You know, at 145 pounds, he is filled out. He looks strong. He looks healthy. There is no trouble for his weight cut. He had a hard time making 135. He's a pretty decent sized 135er. Now, obviously, he's a tiny 145er. Julian Arosa is towering over him in this spot, but frankly, I just don't think it matters. C-Rod is the much better guy. He's the younger guy. He's more durable. He's going to be faster. And I think the durability of Arosa is just such a problem at this point that even a smaller guy is going to be able to get to him and clip him, and especially somebody with a speed advantage on him. And that's something that C-Rod's got. Flying knee, baby. Come on, C-Rod. Fly through the air like a glorious, majestic eagle and knock this guy out. Land a knee right on the chin. Call it a day. I got Christian Rodriguez again in a parlay. I've got two parlays that are both anchored on rows. C-Rod is the other one that I've got set up that way because he is just a greasy decision type of guy. Sometimes he gives away round one. Sometimes he doesn't quite do enough to get the finish, or he can't quite find the finish, but he does enough to win the damn round. So I can count on him to win the fight, and all matters are on the table. He could grind this thing to a decision, counter grappling the way he always does, point striking and hurting his opponent late. He could win this thing by submission. He's got one of the tightest guillotines on him you'll ever see. He could win this fight by knockout because it's Julian Arosa, and anybody can knock out Julian Arosa. Guys, there's two people in the UFC who have one UFC level knockout. Those two people both knocked out Julian Arosa. So it's not even about the power of Christian Rodriguez. It's about the durability of Arosa. So he could win all three ways. That's parlay material for me. That's where you don't pick a method and you just play it safe. And I'm okay with laying minus 230 on Christian Rodriguez, even being a little undersized. That's my boy. All right. Gabriel Bonfim, Ange Loosa, 171 for Bonfim, 170 for Loosa. No issues for Bonfim on the scale today. He looked pretty good. Ange Loosa looks stone cold. He's got a chip on his shoulder always. He's absolutely massive. Dude's a little fire hydrant. His musculature is insane. Obviously, height advantage for Bonfim in this spot. This was a very intense face-off. And Ange Loosa's got some shit to prove, folks. He's got a real bad name right now because of what happened in his last fight. And I think he's going to come out trying to shake that off a little bit. The numbers come down ever so slightly. Ange Loosa's sitting out there around like plus 270 now. I think he was plus 300 a couple days ago. So a couple people are nibbling. A couple people are taking a bite. I was tempted on Ange Loosa as a dog myself here in this spot, but I think he's a better live bet because round one Bonfim is just a beast. Like, you're just going to have a problem with this guy early. That's how he fights. Loosa, I do not believe is the better, more skilled guy, but I think he's got the better gas tank. We've seen him. I'm going to steal a term here from my boy Tim. He's a functional gasser. So even though he's tired, even though he gasses out, even though he's exhausted, he digs deep and he pushes his way through. And I think he can do that. If Bonfim doesn't get the finish early, he's just showed he doesn't have it beyond that first round. So I could see Loosa coming back to win this fight. You got to see what you need to see in round one. You got to see Bonfim struggling a little bit at the end of round one. Then you jump in round two. That's the kind of way I like to play on this one. Bonfim inside the distance, Bonfim round one. Those are probably standard. I'm going to pick Bonfim to win, but at the same time, from a betting perspective, I am watching Loosa very, very closely because I don't think he's a pushover. I don't think he's a bum, and we just don't know enough about the Bonfim brothers yet to make him a minus 400 favorite here in this spot. I don't think. Drew Dober taking on Gene Silva in this next spot, 155 for both guys. Silva saving the fight, taking a big opportunity here against Drew Dober up a weight class. Dober gave a huge flex. The guy looks shredded as ever. He looks fantastic. Big smile on his Chad chin. Gene Silva up there looked good as well. Intense as ever. I still can't decide if I love or hate the guy. You know, it's funny. Betting clouds my fanship sometimes because I'm not the biggest fan of the way Silva like carries himself and stuff. But when you avoid losing money betting on a guy, it just feels so much better. You enjoy the fight so much more when he didn't cost you cash. So dodging the bullet last time of not betting against him, I feel great about Gene Silva coming into this week. And I'm tempted to bet him here, guys. When they faced off, I got to tell you, the stats will say that Drew Dober's got an inch in height. The stats will say that Drew Dober's got an inch in reach. He doesn't. These guys are like nose to nose, toe to toe. And Silva looks far more menacing of the two. I mean, they size up extremely well. So for a guy that fights at 145 to be a little undersized at 155, that's not the case. This guy will fight Drew Dober just fine. And in fact, it looks like his arms are a little bit longer. He might actually have a slight reach advantage himself. Whoever's doing the UFC stats got to get their shit together. They're never right. That's why we do this damn show, so that you guys get this type of info. So Gene Silva or pass for me. I know that's jumping on the train, right? I know that's jumping on the hype train. Drew Dober should be a bigger favorite in this spot. He's more proven. He's fought at the weight class more. He's fought a much higher caliber ceiling worth of guys, but he's also an aging veteran who refuses to wrestle. He's also a guy that's been chinned a couple times. And you've got Gene Silva, a guy that knows how to counter punch really well and hits really freaking hard. I'm going to pick Gene Silva, guys. I was kind of, leaning back and forth and kind of picking Drew Dober and staying off of it. I mean, I got to plant a flag on one side or the other, right? I don't have to bet it, but for you guys, I got to give a pick. I'm going to say Silva. I'm going to join everybody on the hype train. I will be with you on Silva. I have not bet it. I'm probably not going to because, again, it's kind of a prove it to me spot. But I'll tell you guys, I'll tell you something. Every single time we have one of these prove it to me spots, and I bet the age withered veteran, and I'm like, show me you're a hot prospect, show me you're one of the best, show me you're a badass. They do. Like, I bet Volkanovski against Ilya Topuria, so I was like, you got to prove it to me, kid. He knocked him the fuck out. So, like, the fact that I'm sitting here and I'm like, I might bet Drew Dober because kid's got to prove it to me. I'm done doing that. I'm not going to keep donating against these guys that are hot prospects that everybody seems to be aware of. Alex Pereira had to prove it to me. He proved it to me more than once and then some, and I kept doing it. I'm done doing it. So I think Gene Silva is being put in a spot to succeed. He's being given an opportunity. He's given a fight that he can win, and I think he's just crazy enough to maybe pull it off. So I'm not going to bet against him. I'm not going to make him prove it. I'm going to watch this fight and very much enjoy it, and we'll see where he's actually at. But Gene Silva by KO would not at all shock me. Drew Dober going for takedowns, mixing in the wrestling, and getting some top time actually would not shock me either. Coming in on a short notice, smaller opponent, that kind of thing. He could just try to bully him, and his gas tank might be a little bit better, more prepared for this place. He trains in Denver, so he's going to be more used to the altitude already anyway. Like, there's a lot of reasons to like Drew Dober, but I kind of am ready to buy in on Silva like everybody else, so it is what it is. I'm going to pick Silva. We'll pass and leave it at that. Santiago Ponzinibbio, Muslim Salikhov. I couldn't find a video of Salikhov. Ponzinibbio looked good. Dude is in amazing shape, especially for his age, especially with USADA getting a little bit booted the way they did. The UFC's drug testing being far more lax than it used to be these days. He looks incredible. So he may have turned back the clock here a little bit. We'll find out on Saturday. But I just think Muslim Salikhov's a guy that's got one good round in him. You know, if you avoid all the spinning shit, you're probably okay. And I am leaning towards Ponzinibbio. I don't like minus 180 in like a withered veteran type of fight. Either one of these guys can win with one big shot because both of them are aged, both of them are withered. But I do think Ponzinibbio's got a little bit more gas in the tank. I understand people taking the dog shot on Salikhov, especially when it was a bigger number. But the lower this thing gets, the more tempted I am on the Ponzinibbio side. I like other spots better where I'm just more confident, so I'm probably not betting it, but I'm definitely picking Santiago Ponzinibbio, and I wouldn't be surprised if he kind of chips away at this guy and finishes him in like round 2 or round 3, where the old man just can't keep up because he is like 42 or some shit like that. So Ponzinibbio it is. Main event time, everybody. Again, do me a favor, subscribe if you haven't, hit the like button. I got to get the hell out of here. Rose Namajunas and Tracy Cortez. This one gets interesting. We're going to switch hats for the main event. So we've got Rose coming in here, no issues, looking good, looking relaxed. Tracy Cortez missed weight, folks. She missed weight by 1.5 pounds, and this is main event. She has to be on weight. She doesn't want to get fined. Kelvin Gastelum already, put shame on the name of Fight Ready. They couldn't let her pull that shit off. She takes the box of shame. She weighs in again, and she's still over by 0.5 pound. So she cuts her fucking hair off. Now, she doesn't shave it Rose style, but she takes a good 6 inches off the damn thing, and then she gets up on the scale, and she looked like Jamal Hill holding up like the Poeton head. She's up there like crying. She is sobbing, and she's got her hair raised up over her head, and I got to tell you guys, I've never seen somebody this emotional for a weigh-in unless they were retired. I don't think she's retiring. I will say that. I don't think she is retiring. But she has been on record saying how much of an opportunity this is for her, and she wants to take her shot at the deep end of the division. She really wants to, be a champion and not just be a fighter, and this is a moment that she's got to take. But the deck's stacked against her. She is taking this on short notice. This is a massive step up in competition. It was obviously a rough weight cut. She did drain herself to get all the way down to the point that she'd rather cut hair than try to cut any more weight for safety reasons. All of those things are giant red flags to me. All those things are tinfoil cap things to me. I was on Rose Namajunas to begin with, guys. I already felt like Rose was just the better, more well-rounded fighter. I feel like she's a level above. I understand the love for Tracy. I got love for Tracy. Met her a couple times already. I'm a big fan of hers. I'm a big fan of the gym. I just think this is a bad matchup for her, and I'm on Rose. So I've got not one, but 2 parlays. They are anchored on Rose Namajunas, and what I'm going to be doing is sprinkling rounds 3, 4, and 5. We've seen Tracy get tired at the end of a third round fight against somebody who she couldn't hold down. We've seen her eat a bunch of shots on the feet against that kind of person when she got tired as well. So I don't think she's going to be able to handle the striking onslaught of Rose, especially the deeper this fight goes. Rose is prepped. Rose is ready. Rose trains at altitude. She's going to have no problem going 25 minutes at this spot. I'm not sure that's going to be true for Tracy Cortez. Can she strike for 25 minutes with Rose? Personally, I don't think so. I think the skill gap is way too wide there. So she's going to have to rely on those takedowns. Can she grind takedowns for 25 minutes? Maybe on a full fight camp. At elevation on short notice? I don't think so. So I'm pretty sure this is Rose, guys. And I'm going 3, 4, and 5 because she could win this thing by knockout or sub. I really feel like Rose's head kick is on the table in this spot once Tracy gets a little tired and her hands are hanging a little bit low. But let's not forget the one time Cortez got finished. It was a guillotine choke. She got a little over aggressive. She made a mistake. She had a mental slip. She dove in for a bad takedown and she got her neck wrapped and tapped out. Let's not forget how good Rose is at jiu-jitsu. You do not want to play on the ground on bottom with Tracy Cortez, but if you can find your way to top position, if you can find your way to the back, if you can get a high elbow standing guillotine, all those things are possible, especially when somebody's tired. Rose Namajunas by submission is definitely something that's on the table. So on Monday, I said round 4, head kick, Rose Namajunas, and I guess I'll stick to that. But I definitely think that sub is maybe even more likely, and you're going to get a sexier number on the submission because Tracy is tough as nails. It might be a club and sub, guys. After thinking about it, I think it might be a club and sub. So Rose via late round submission props, those numbers are pure insanity. It's another wild card, guys. It's another crazy weekend. I've picked some solid spots I think I like. I'm going to sprinkle a couple of dart throws where we've got big, juicy, fat numbers, and let's freaking go. Let's have a damn day, everybody. Good luck on all your degenerate action, everybody. Let's freaking roll.